Hi, hi, hi. Listen, I've had a great day. I get to wear my new dress that my husband bought me for my birthday, and I was not going to waste that. So we're going to talk about Sister Wives today because we are on season 2, episode 5, and this is the one where Christine gets to go to Las Vegas, and I am ready to talk about it. If you didn't see, I put out a short earlier today, one of my temperature blanket because you guys have been asking for progress on it, and one of the homemade pizzas that we made because I just did that video about the Sister Wives Pumpkin Patch and Pizza Party Palooza. So I did my own pizza palooza. So go check those out. I know you guys have been asking about the stuff that I bake. I made the crust from scratch because, what are you going to do? Anyway, so if you're new here, hi, I'm Cozy. I like to snark about Sister Wives and Sister Wife related reality television shows here on YouTube. I do like to remind you my videos are all for entertainment purposes only. These aren't facts. They're just my opinions about public figures who share their lives on television. So if we're good, we're good. All right, let's go. Let's just jump in because I got a lot to say. Because they are off to Vegas. And Christine's like, I needed a vacation for me, my kids, Cody, just like everybody needs some time away occasionally. And Christine's super excited because she loves Vegas. And Cody's like, it's close, it's exciting, it's inexpensive. But Christine's like, no, I love Vegas. He's got different reasons to be excited about it, but whatever. I'm glad he's just excited. So he says that it is a 6-hour drive from Lehigh to Vegas. And they're all excited because it's not going to be snowing in Vegas. So I've never been to Vegas, ever. I've never been further west than Chicago. I think that it looks stunning, but if I'm honest, it's not on my bucket list to see. There are other places out west that I'm super stoked about seeing, like I want to see the Grand Canyon so bad. I'd actually really like to visit northern Utah. I've never had Vegas on my list. Maybe I'm missing out, I don't know. But Christine explains to us that she felt like she needed this little vacation. Just her, Cody, her kids, because it's important to establish their own little family inside of the bigger family. Where have we heard that before? Because I feel like, wasn't it Christine that was sharing with us that when Robin came in, that was one of Robin's big ideals? We all needed to have these relationships established inside of the bigger relationship. But Cody's giving Mary instructions on how to take things to the dry cleaners and to do certain things while he's gone. And she's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to the dry cleaners. I have partying to do. And on the couch, she's explaining that Christine needs some time away. And Robin has this sourpuss face on. Girl, you got an 11-day honeymoon. Sit down. No one forgot about it. But Mary's like, I get a weekend of freedom. When I heard about this, I was excited because I'm like, I can do whatever I want. And that makes Robin smile because maybe she's thinking Mary's going to come hang out with her. I don't know. So Mary's like, when the cat's away, the dog will play, or the mice, or whatever. You know what? Whatever. I'm going to be playing, and I'm doing it in his car. Fair enough. Girl, go for it. You almost seem more excited to have the car than Cody anyway. But Christine and Cody are off on this vacation. And Christine's like, listen, I was the last wife for 16 years. So when I would hear other women talk about feeling jealous, feeling insecure, feeling worried about these new wives, I didn't get it. But when Cody began courting Robin, she started to feel it. It hit her like a ton of bricks. She was feeling insecure. She was feeling threatened. She didn't think she was special anymore. And it was like a shock because it really shocked her entire system that Cody would even feel like he needed to get married again. And she mentions it felt like it was a mourning process and like the thing that was there before was no longer. And Cody seems so checked out while she's talking, and he probably is. But he does say this trip's important because they need to move away from the investigation and put it on the back burner for a bit. No, boo-boo, she just told you why it was important, because she doesn't think she's special anymore, and she needs you to sit with her and show her that she's special. You weren't listening. Got it. So Janelle's rationalizing that Christine has needed this trip for a while. She had a baby, things have changed a lot, and there's been just tons of change in this family. And Janelle is looking directly at Robin when she says this, like directly, almost like, fight me. Do not argue. This woman needs this. You got time. Chill. But Janelle's like, listen, Christine's life gets absorbed into mine in like, a particular way because Christine is home with the kids all of the time. And so Janelle's like, when Christine's gone, my whole world falls apart. She says that she even comes to where it's like, oh my gosh, Savannah needs her hair combed before she goes to school in the morning. So it's super telling that the routines that Christine and Janelle have developed are so intertwined. Because Christine's super focused on the kids, Janelle's super focused on work. It almost feels like if they were to switch places, they both would be lost in the minutia of what needs to be done day to day. But Robin goes on to say that truly has been a big change because, when you're older, it's harder to have babies. I don't know. I had my babies in my 20s. I was in my early 20s for the first one, and that one was difficult. And I was in my late 20s, almost 30, for my last two. And that one was so rough that, to be frank and honest, there were a couple times where we were like, ooh, I'm not sure that all three of us are making it out of this. So, thank God, we all are here. Praise Jesus, we all made it. It's fine. But listen, it's plenty hard, no matter when you have them, for some people. I sat down this weekend and said out loud on my birthday, I'm 35, but I think I want one more. I know that's probably not ideal. I get it. I can't help it. My biological clock is ticking, and husband is like, I think we're good. We have three. I think we're okay. But to hear Robin say that someone who was barely older than I am right now say that is like, girl, come on. And then I can't help but laugh because she's got that dark-haired spirit baby she was trying to bribe Cody with in Flagstaff. I am pretty darn sure when she said that, she was older than Christine was having Truly. So pick a lane. Either it's too old to be having babies or it's not. Pick one. But what it really boils down to is that Robin can't admit to herself or anyone else that Christine was not completely on board with her joining this family. Like, it has to be something else in her mind. But in the car, Christine is laying down the law. Know what game? To which one of the teenage girls, I don't know if it's Aspen or McKelty, goes, what? I was like, yep, that's right. You asked for that, Christine. And then she's like, no slug bug, and all the typical parent things. And they start discussing, how expensive flying is versus driving. And I'm with them there. I prefer to drive. But I also think it's super dependent on where you live. Because like a 6-hour drive in the Midwest, that's not really anything. It's no big deal. Get in the car, go. It's a lot like Cody says. You get into the groove of travel and everything's good. But then I know people who are European who are like, my grandparents live 2 hours away, so we saw them twice a year. Like, it's 2 hours. Get in the car. And so I've also heard Europeans say that, like, they didn't realize that you could get into the car in Texas and drive 10 hours and still be in Texas. Because, like, I think Ohio takes about 4 hours to get across. I think Indiana's around 4, depending on how you cut it, Georgia, for whatever reason, is like 10,090 hours. I don't know what it is. When I lived in Florida and I would drive back and forth, for some reason, Georgia took forever. And the only thing to see for stretches and stretches of time is billboards for peaches, pecans, and the fiery pits of hell. I don't know what it is, but Georgia really wants to scare you into loving Jesus. Is it different now? If you're from Georgia, is it different now? If it's not, great. It was still a wild journey. But back at home, the wives are going to go out to lunch, and Robin says that she's not going to say it isn't nice to have Cody around, because it's always nice to have a man around, but having her me time is really important too. She's like, it's super awesome. I wonder when that changed. But Janelle starts to say that Cody isn't a lot of work, and then she's like, well, okay, let's be more honest. Cody isn't a lot of work, but he's some work. He's still fun to have around. I get it on a certain level because, like, of course, husband works. I'm home with the kiddos. So, there's a certain routine that you fall into when it's just you and your kids. I do the housework. I do these videos. That's kind of my me time. He works a schedule where once a month he has 6 days off in a row every month. And I adore having him home for that time. Like, it is the best time. It makes me so happy to get those 6 days off. I want to pack them with all of the wonderful things. I just want to spend as much time with them as possible. But it does mess with my routine. It means more dishes, more laundry, more things to pick up. The big chores need to get done. Finding time to do these videos is a little bit more challenging because, of course, we want to spend as much time together as possible. So when he's off, he wants to tackle big projects like yard work, mowing, painting, furniture. My routine just gets thrown out the window. It is so disrupted, but it is disrupted in the absolute best way. So I get what Janelle's saying about having that disruption. But Janelle likes her time with just her and her kids. And then Robin says the dumbest Robin quote ever. And listen, we can argue about it in the comments, but you're not changing my mind. I'm sorry. This is my opinion. This is it. She says, I can't imagine having a husband around all the time. It'd be kind of weird. Fight me. This is her shining moment of stupid, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I know that's rude. I know that's mean, but this one takes the cake. She was married monogamously for like 8 years. Girl, you had a husband around all the time. You know who didn't? Christine. Mary had Cody alone for 3 years. Janelle was married before Cody. So were you. Christine's the only one in this family who, up until very recently, never had a husband she could just call her own. So you want us to erase all of the times that you told us that you were married, in a polygamous family with one wife. Come on, Robs. You can do better than this. The whole world thinks you're bonkers for saying it. So it's dark when Cody and Christine get to Vegas, and you can see it lighting up the entire sky. Like, it is beautiful. And Cody's like, Vegas has a huge Christian population, even though it's called Sin City. And I'll give him that when people think of Vegas, they really only think of the Strip. They don't think of the outlying areas. And I don't know the exact demographic breakdown of Vegas, but I'd have to imagine that outside of the Strip, the suburbs are like any other town or city. Completely normal, completely regular people all the time. And Christine's like, Vegas has a lot of options, and she loves options. So I need a Christine in my life, because when there are options, I get so overwhelmed. I open up like HBO Max to try and be like, oh, well, what can we watch now that Seeking Sister Wife is done? And I'm like, I don't know. There's so many things, which is why I told you guys, please tell me what you want me to watch, because if you tell me to review it, it'll be a lot easier than me just sitting there scrolling endlessly panicked. But I need a Christine. I just need a Christine. So they head off to their hotel at Lake Las Vegas, and it is beautiful. I'm glad they got a great deal on it, because it's gorgeous. They get to their room, and Cody's like, it's a freaking villa. I would stay at that place. It's gorgeous. But they go for a wander around the hotel the next morning, because, it was dark when they got there, so they had to check it out, and they go over to the lake. And Cody starts skipping rocks, and he's like, I'm a pro. And Christine starts flirting with him like, oh, if I'd have known that, then this would have been a done deal before we got married. And he does not pick up on the flirting, in my opinion. Like, he doesn't seem to get it. He is pretty good at skipping rocks. I can't skip a rock to save my life. But Robin steps in to give us the very sage sister-wife advice that Cody is sweet with each wife. And when it's just you, your kids, and Cody, they get to see that marriage and the strength of that a lot better. Okay. But Mary, back at home, is directing everyone into 2 cars. And Robin contradicts her earlier dumb. See, this is why I said it was her shining moment. Because then she says, this is such a big culture change for my kids. Because they went from a monogamous house with just a father and a mother and them all of the time to a family where, there's 21 people. I thought it would be weird to have a husband around all the time, Robs. Isn't that what you said? These kids are giving bowling a good try, though, and I need to take my kids bowling. I think they would love it. If we could go glow bowling with them, oh my gosh, I think they'd think that was the best. But Robin gets into a slight tiff with Mary and Janelle, because she's like, I tied with Mary. No, you didn't, girl. I'm with them. You used bumpers. That's cheating. The 2 times they saw that they showed us you trying to roll the ball down the lane, it bumped off the bumpers. You wouldn't have gotten that. Come on. Mary won. Mary is actually apparently a pretty decent bowler. So Christine and her side of the fam are off to Madame Tussauds to see wax figurines. And she's always wanted to go because she's super amazed what they can do with wax. And I have to admit, it is impressive. But they were definitely creeped out by the George Clooney wedding exhibit. And Cody's like, well, it should be a little bit creepy. Like, that's what wax museums should be. It is a little bit creepy, honestly. I agree. Creepy for the fun of it is all okay with me. But Mary's like, listen, people are upset that we brought kids into this relationship because the kids didn't have a choice. And she says it's the same as anywhere else. All kids are brought into a family and taught the parents' ideology. No child has a choice into where they're born. And she's right. I think as long as kids are given the time, the space, the energy, and encouragement to grow into whoever they are and however they want to be, you're doing it right. It doesn't really matter. So as far as Christine, Janelle, and Mary go, I do believe they've given their kids the chance to sort of choose and have, the ability. They've held up their end of the bargain here. The kids have all gotten the chance to grow into who they're meant to be. They've given the kids, it's clear when you watch the older kids, it's clear. They've been given the ability to find paths without forcing a path on them. Robin, on the other hand, I'm not going to give her a pass because her kids don't seem as well adjusted as the other brown kids on the show. But Janelle also is correct when she says, yeah, we're going to raise our kids according to our beliefs. They wouldn't be our beliefs if we didn't. And again, I have to agree with her. I take my kids to church every Sunday because I believe that the Bible's correct. But someone else is going to take their kids to mass or synagogue or the mosque because they have beliefs. And I personally believe that free will exists. And I'm going to give my children whatever tools it is that I think are going to make their life the best. But I'm not going to tell them that they have to choose the exact same belief system. Will I be sad if they don't? Maybe. But that doesn't mean I get to force it on them later in life. I'm not going to write my kids off if they have a different political party or if they have a different religion. That's not how things work. And Cody's like, he thinks they've raised the kids in a very open-minded, tried to show them a better way. I even agree with his stance on teaching them the 10 Commandments specifically because, quite frankly, religious or not, the idea of thou shalt not, well, there's a lot of them, and I don't think YouTube will let me say. Never mind. But they're all really good guidelines to follow regardless. But it's breakfast time at the hotel, and they're eating food from home to save some money, which is great. If you have a kitchenette in a hotel, I highly recommend doing this. I know for me, it would be out of necessity now because of, like, trying to cut back on certain things. But if you can save a little bit of money on some meals and then, like, go hog wild on others, yes, I am all for that. But Christine explains she really likes her kids to have a substantial breakfast. But there's only a microwave, and Christine doesn't have a microwave in her home because she believes they're dangerous, much like toasters. And so she doesn't have the skill set for it. So Cody ribs her a little bit about not using it, and she's like, I don't even know how to cook eggs in the microwave. And he's like, who knows how to cook eggs? Apparently Robin. Listen, I have one. I use my microwave. I'm not cooking eggs in that thing. That is an abomination. I'm sorry. If you cook your eggs in the microwave, I will still love you, but that's an abomination. Don't do that. Who wants rubbery microwave eggs? I draw my line there. Christine is intrigued, and she's like, I wouldn't serve it to my family because of the harmful radiation waves in microwaves. Okay, listen, I'm not well-versed enough in how microwaves work to sit here and explain it to her, but unless you are in the microwave, you're fine. But Cody makes a call home to check up on Mary's job prospects. Apparently, she had lost her job. She's trying to find a new one. You know what? He is doing the thing, though, that I used to hate so much back in the day. He has got his Bluetooth earpiece in, and he's just wandering in circles talking to somebody. I hate that. I remember a time when people would do that, and it's like, you look so dumb, please stop. But, like, you look like you're having full-blown conversations with people who aren't there. It's wild. It was a time, for sure, for sure. I hate it, though. Mary explains she'd been declined for a position. She'd been looking for a new job after being let go from her previous one. And essentially, she was fired for having sister wives, according to her. I don't know that was ever actually confirmed. But Mary wants to work with at-risk youth. She just thinks that now that she's a public figure, that's really going to affect her ability to do that. And yeah, it definitely could, especially in Utah, where you're flaunting breaking the law. A lot of places are not going to be willing to take on that level of liability. So Cody tells her he's standing on the ugliest hill overlooking Henderson, Nevada. And this is a point where a lot of fans go to when they're saying that the plan to move to Vegas was way in place early. I don't know if it was or wasn't. This seems like the trip where it was trying to convince Christine. Okay, listen. I've always thought that the move to Vegas was precipitated by Robin. I just do, because of her stepdad's ties to it. And I've always thought that the move to Flagstaff was precipitated by Robin, because, equally obvious reasons. So in both cases, the one person who really needed to be convinced was Christine. And it's pretty quickly after this trip that they actually make the move. So this could have been the trip to try and butter up Christine and try to get her on board, in my opinion. It's quite possible. It's likely they were planning the move well behind the scenes for a while, and Christine was that final holdout. So, hey baby, you want to go on a trip to Vegas? Hey baby, you want to go on a trip to Flagstaff? Just a thought. Unless someone comes out and really confirms it, it's all just speculation. So Mary gets really defensive. She's like, I'm not a bad person. I just have sister wives and I get fired for it. And she's like, this is why polygamists hide. Because we can't be who we are and not suffer consequences. And she believes that had she stayed quiet, never gone public, she'd still have her job. And Christine and Cody take their kiddos out on a boat ride on Lake Las Vegas after listening to Mary's unfortunate job problems. And Christine's like, this was the highlight for me. But they do lament that the boat was quite slow. It was the golf cart of boats, they called it. And Janelle's like, the kids have grown up, as a whole family. And Cody's like, yeah, Logan isn't being salty that he's off with Christine and her kids. And Robin says, the public's saying, here you have this father of 16, and he is stretched way too thin. He is. So how do these kids have enough of their father? They don't. Janelle argues that Cody has the same 24 hours in a day that anyone else has, he just chooses to use it differently. They list things Cody doesn't do, like go golfing or hide in a man cave. But I'd argue that everybody needs that time for themselves. Once a month or so, I pack my husband up and I send him off to Dungeons and Dragons. Because he just needs time to be with other people. Or leave him be so he can watch his TV shows that I don't really care for. He likes anime that's a little gorier. I'm not about that. Throw me on some Sailor Moon, I will snuggle on the couch all day. Just saying. But men need that space. I need that space. Sometimes, a lot of times, when he's doing those things, what am I doing? I'm up here talking to you guys because I need space too. But I know they think it's super virtuous of Cody to just forego everything. Is it? No, it builds resentment. We start to, see that he's spending a lot of time eventually at the house where he does get to escape and have more time for himself. So, but Cody and Christine are going to dinner, just the two of them. They've been married for almost 17 years, and Cody says that they've had 3 years of struggles. And Christine's like, most of it's been bliss. Really? I don't believe that either. But that's not the picture that we're seeing now, nor the picture that we are being told about. So maybe those 3 years were the years leading up to Robin joining, and including that. So it seems a lot fresher for the show. But Christine's like, this last year has been a lot of struggle. We do know that that's the case. They admit the trip has helped them reconnect and get back together, but things are definitely not fixed perfectly. No, they're very not. Cody's like, it's an investment in our future. You should have made better investments. That was mean. I've seen the future, though, so... And then Cody gets angry about the investigation again, and then he says that they just need to unwind. So I think there's an important moment here where Christine's like, I could stay for longer, but I'm really content to go home. So that kind of gives me a little bit more of a nod to the theory that this trip was to convince her to move, and she's trying to tell Cody she's not on board with it. Because if that were to be the case, this was her saying, hey, listen, this was great. I don't want to live here. I want to be at home in Utah. And Christine says there are good days and bad days, and there was a lot of time where she worried about going public. But ultimately, they all agree this was a good thing because they feel society is changing their minds about polygamy. That doesn't last forever. There was a time where TLC was really shoving a lot of polygamous families at us. We had the Browns. We had My Five Wives. We were getting little snippets with the Dargers. Now, of course, we have Seeking Sister Wife, and public opinion, especially with Seeking Sister Wife, has really gone very negative on polygamy. I can't say that I'm surprised. Seeking Sister Wife is a train wreck. We just finished up that show. Not a single family ended up with a sister wife. Not a single family ended up in a place that I would consider perfectly healthy either. So, I don't know. Polygamy is such a difficult topic anymore because you have people that want to argue that, polygamy should be treated the same as polyamory. It's not the same thing really, though, especially not when you talk about some of these closed religious communities. Or you have other people that go the opposite direction. It's like, no, all of it is awful. It's all terrible. Shut it all down. So it's just a difficult thing to come up to, but I do think that the public opinion, any goodwill the Browns brought us in the early seasons has been completely thrown out the door by the later seasons and Seeking Sister Wife, because it gets rough. But that's all I really have for you guys. Quick update on all the things. I talked to husband about doing a baking stream the next time that he has a long stretch off, and he said, what's in it for him? He wants to know, are you guys going to butter him up in the comments? Am I going to make him something nice? So, it's up to you. I know he's just messing with me. He's so fun. He'll probably end up doing it anyway, because that's just who he is as a person. And then other than that, I really don't have much else. Go watch my short with the pizzas if you want to see, well, my kid's pizza is featured. I didn't take a video of the pizza that was in the oven, sorry. So go watch that one if you want to see that. Go watch the one with the temperature blanket if you want to see how it's turning out. I'm super stoked. I'm already partway through May, so I can't wait to update you guys again. And it's getting late here, so I am going to go. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Bye.